down we can do later. Okay? But at a very fundamental level, to attract more drivers online. Who is the rider? Second is the supplier. Who is the driver? I'll just repeat. I missed forget recording. There are two things. One is the demand, who is the rider. Second is the supply, who is the driver. Now the problem statement says that during peak hours, demand may exceed available supply. That is, there are more riders compared to drivers. In such cases, Uber may need to offer drivers some incentives, adjust their pricing strategies, and take other actions to attract more drivers online. What we are given up with is that there are two sample data sets. One is on the supply side, one is on the demand side. We have to build a very clear understanding on four things. One is demand and supply dynamics. Second is evaluate whether supply actually is sufficient or not according to the demand. The third is identify some peak hours and then give some insights using data analysis. Right? Any questions till this point?
No.
Cool. Now what we have to do is we have to visualize supply and demand, identify critical peak hours, estimate additional supply, and you guys have not done the whole case. So this particular question will be homework for you guys. You will have to do and figure out. Why I'm telling this? Of course, I'll reveal the answer. I'll share the complete sheet with you. But the why I'm telling this is because this was the assignment or the problem statement that was asked in some top company out there. Okay, so these sort of assignments is something that you can expect while going to the interviews. Very, very important that you do yourself first. Yeah, so these two, fourth and fifth, are almost same only. So this is something that you'll be doing homework today after the class or tomorrow, and then by evening itself you will get the answer sheet. Okay? Yes, Pallavi.
Sorry to interrupt. We just joined the class now. Could you please come again? We just a few of them had joined the other link, so we don't know what happened.
Sure. No worries. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, this is the case. It's on Uber. There are few things that we have to figure out. If you are not sure what Uber is, I'll quickly give the introduction. Uber is a place where you can book some rides. You are the rider. If you are booking the ride, you are called as demand. Yeah, why? Because you are producing some demand. On the other hand side, there are drivers who are supplying. Yeah, they are supplying the demand. Basically, they are supplying the car so the demand gets fulfilled. Okay, that's the basic introduction of Uber. Now, over here, if you read this statement, that what is happening is that during certain peak hours, demand may exceed available supply. Okay, there is a may over here, so we are not sure. In such cases, if that happens, Uber may need to offer some incentives. They need to adjust their pricing, and they also need to take some actions to attract more drivers online. Okay. Now the problem statement is key. First, we have to build a clear understanding of demand and supply. Once we have built that understanding, then we will move to the second part of identifying where exactly supply is getting, where exactly the demand is getting met with the sufficient supply. If it is not, then we have to do this thing. The third is identifying some peak hours where the supply is insufficient. And finally, we have to give some insights by doing the data analysis. Okay? I was mentioning that this case study was asked in one of the top companies out there. So there are 5 tasks that you are given with. We'll do 3 tasks today, and this task is a homework for you guys. Why? So that you also build a problem-solving ability. Okay? We'll reveal all the answers. I'll go ahead and record the whole session and share with you guys as well. But this is something that you will be doing because I'm assuming most of you have not done this case. Okay? These are the assignments that you can also expect in the coming interviews or whenever you'll be applying to the companies. Right? All right, let's go. Let me quickly go ahead and open the data. This is the first data. And this is on the supply side, right? Perfect. I can't edit this. So what I'll do is I'll simply make a copy of this, close this for now, copy this whole data, and I'll paste it over here so that we can look at single sheet only. This is demand. This is supply. Yeah, before moving ahead, the first step of any data analysis is to understand the data. What exactly is this data about? We'll start with the demand first. Okay, if there is demand, then only you will supply anything. That's why. There are 4 columns. First column is giving you the date and the time. You see this 18th December 2016, 23rd is the hour. So any demand that is coming in the 23rd hour. What is 23rd hour? 11:00 p.m. till 11:59 p.m. Okay. Any demand is coming will come over here, will get captured over here. Any demand is coming between 10:00 p.m. till 10:59 p.m. will get captured over here. Okay. What is this? This is that when you go to Google, when you go to Uber, and sometimes you try to book the car, sometimes there are no cars available. You don't see any cars out there. So this is showing that. Okay, whenever people are trying to go on Uber and trying to book, when they are seeing 0 cars, how many people are there? 9 people. When they are seeing +1 cars, that is 1 or more than 1 cars, there are 32 people. Okay, that's how we will get the coverage ratio. Coverage ratio is a ratio of people who are seeing at least one car divided by the total number of people who are trying to search. How do I calculate this? Very simply, if you divide 32 divide by 32 plus 9, you will get all the same answer, 78, 69, 89, and so on. Clear till this point? Come on, folks, clear? Yes,
no? This coverage ratio, can you repeat that?
Coverage ratio is equal to number of people who are trying to see at least one car, or who are able to see at least one car, divided by the total number of people who are trying searching for the car. So, yani ki, if this is 32, that means they are able to see at least one car. Divide by how many people are searching for the car? 32 plus 9. Okay, so this becomes 78%.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions over here in demand side? This is very simple data set. We'll move to the supply. There are multiple columns. Should we move to supply? Let's go. Yes. On the supply side, same date column is there. 18th December 2016 on the 23rd hour. There are 52 active drivers. 52 active drivers. And now if you think logically, just think logically, if there are 52 active drivers on 18th December 2016 at 23rd hour, why the demand is just for the 41 driver? I should be able to see all 52 over here, no? Why it's not getting shown? There are 52 active drivers over here. Okay? So I should be able to see all 52. So this 9 where they are seeing 0 cars, why they are able to see 0 cars? Different area, okay? Any other thoughts?
No, like not active drivers.
Beautiful. Exactly. Okay? See this. This is telling me the data of the whole hour. Now, let's say there is one driver, guys. There is one driver who was active till 11:01 p.m. and went out. In that hour, he was active for 1 minute. Na? I am counting that. But for rest of the hours, he was not active. So how do I capture it? How do I capture it? We'll capture it using this online column. Online column. Online column tells me number of supply hours that I have. Number of supply hours. What do you mean by supply hours, Harshit? Well, if you take 10 drivers, on an average, they are active for just 0.5 hours. So total supply hours will be this multiplied by this, 5. Okay? This is what this online hour is. Okay, clear? Now there are 2 additional columns. One is has booking, another one is waiting for booking. So out of this total online supply hours that we have, how much of them is actually occupied with the booking, where they are actually traveling, going from A to B, and where drivers are actually waiting for booking? Any questions?
No.
Okay, so if you see that 18 will always be sum of this 2. Sometimes it might miss by 1 because it's a rounded off number. Okay, so mostly it will be sum 11 plus 9, 18 plus 7. Okay, sometimes it might be plus minus 1 because we have rounded off the numbers. All clear till this point? Next, we will move to hours per active driver. What is hours per active drivers? I just gave you the example. 10 drivers active for 30 minutes. Total available hour, online supply hour is 5 hours. You can simply do it by doing 18 divided by total active drivers. You'll get the same answer. Okay, it is just rounded off to single decimal. Same answer. So online hours, online supply hours divided by the total active drivers will give you this. All right, perfect. Now coming to the G column, which is finished ride. That is during this particular hour, how many rides were finished? Okay, this is 12. Then what is rides per online hour? Well, very simply, how many rides got finished and how many total supply was there? 0.67. Okay. All right, columns clear, guys? Any questions in the columns part? Because I have one question. Clear, na?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How is has booking a finished rides? Like,
sorry, what do you?
I mean to say has booking. If he has booking, then he would finish rides, or is it like before cancellation is the part where the column has booking?
Remove cancellation. We assume there are no cancellations.
Okay.
And if you are talking about why exactly there are more finished rides, because there might be some drivers who are active over here, book the ride at 10:59, so their finished ride will happen over here, no?
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
What if your driver has confirmed the ride for 22 hours and then he's driving for more than 1 hour? Then it would be count for 22 and 23 both, or just for 22?
No, booking active will be coming over here only. Okay, and also over here, because that particular driver was active over here. And whenever he is finishing, that particular finished ride will come in that particular hour itself. That's how it will go.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now here's the question. Out of these columns, 8 columns over here and 4 columns over here, 12 columns we have. Which column is the most important column for Uber? You all have understood about business outcomes, right? Think from that business outcome and tell me which particular column is most important for Uber.
finished writes.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Demand. What demand? I'm asking about column. There's no demand column.
Riders that are waiting for the booking.
Riders that are waiting for the booking. Okay, good. What else?
Rights per online hour.
Sorry, what?
The last column.
Rights per
Rights per
online.
online hour.
Completed rights. Okay. Think about when exactly Uber is making money. When exactly is Uber making money? Finished rights. Okay. What else? Folks, come on. More answers.
Active drivers.
Huh?
Bookings.
Active drivers.
Active drivers. Okay.
Booking on booking.
Okay. Okay. When you guys go on Uber, okay, you sit in the car, you reach particular destination, then only you pay, na? Well, assuming that you don't have Uber wallet and all. Right? So that means whenever there is a finished ride, then Uber is able to make money. Hai na? Understanding my point?
Yes.
So that is the key business outcome that we have to drive. How we can get the maximum finished ride, because that will actually drive the Uber's business outcome. Okay? So my first thinking would be, okay, where exactly in all these days and hours, where exactly I'm getting more finished rides and where I'm not getting more finished rides? That's the first question I would like to answer. Understanding the whole approach. Why? Because this is my key business outcome. Then I can drill down, okay, I'll see who is not coming and who is coming. That is of later. First, I would like to understand where exactly my finished rides are actually coming in maximum and where exactly it's low. What I will also do is, in meantime, just combine these things for better analysis. Of course, I would have done it later, but just for now, so that we can focus on the case study and not Excel. Okay. Okay. Anyone know how to use index match, XLOOKUP? There are multiple columns. No? Whenever you want to look up for multiple columns, you can use either index match or XLOOKUP. All of you know how to use index match? Write index, give the data reference, put match. What I want to search for this particular thing. Where I want to search for, I want to search over here, comma, 0 because exact match, comma, फिर से match. What exactly I want to, what exactly I want to search? I want to search for this. Where I want to search? I want to search over here, comma, 0, and I think this should work. Yes, it worked. We'll block. Sorry. We'll just put $signs. This A2 is what? A2 is this. So this shouldn't move to the right. So I'll block A, or not block, actually fix. And this 1 shouldn't move down. So I'll block fix 1. H. Okay. Cool. What I can simply do now is drag it to the right and double click. All right, perfect. Okay. Any questions in this formula? Happy to explain it. Else we can move ahead. Cool. Assuming it's clear. What also we can do is copy and paste it so that's fine. Okay. Now we have this particular date. I want to drill it down into some patterns because I can't go ahead and identify for each of these dates what exactly is happening. That's of no sense. So we'll have to identify certain parameters. This particular data is for at least a week. So what are the different drill downs that I can do? Well, of course, one is the day. Is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday? When exactly things are happening? And second thing is the hours, because I am getting hours as well over here. Okay? So these are two parameters which I can think of. Again, if there is need of any additional drill down, we'll do it later. But for now, since this data is of just a week, month doesn't make sense, year doesn't make sense. It's only the day and the hour for now. So what I'll do is I'll create a couple of columns over here and I'll make it as hours and I'll make it as day. This I need your help. From this particular text, how can I extract days and hours? If anyone can help me with the hours first.
We can use left, right.
Okay.
Right, from right we can take up 2 characters, last 2 characters.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We'll use right, comma 2. Nice. Can you help me with this also, please?
Next.
I mean, left also can work with the same function, but it depends whether the date has last 2 days are 2 digits or a single digit.
Sorry. Last 2. Okay. Last 2 digits.
Basically, if it's day 1, it should be 0, 1. That is one thing. If not, yeah, we can go with left and write the formula.
Day and left combined. Okay. So if I use left first, I'll use this string. Then I'll have to find out where exactly the space is starting because that's what the pattern is all across. So I can find out the space where I want to find out the space over here. This will give me the date. Okay. Now I am getting this on the right hand side. I'm assuming this is date only, but still to make it very clear, let's make it date value. It will create this into date string. Okay. Now out of this, what I want to extract? I want to extract the weekday. Is it either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on? So for that, I can use weekday. You can also use text function to extract, completely up to you guys. But numbers generally works well for the analysis. Weekday, and I think when Sunday starts, counting starts from Sunday equal to 1. So I don't want Sunday as 1, I want Monday as 1. I'll put 2. Okay, so this particular day was Sunday. That's why it is coming as 7. Monday is 1. If you put 2, if you put it as 1, it will become, sorry. If you put it as 1, it will become 1. Okay, simple, basically 1, 2, 3, whatever you want. So, all right, this is done. Let's copy paste this formula.
Is it better to have a numeric day, or should we be having it as a category? Like right now it's also category, but Monday, Tuesday as a string would be better, or
anything works well. And generally, doing this analysis, if I want to use, I would prefer using numbers. But yeah, more than happy to use text also. It doesn't make any much of an impact.
Right. Okay.
Where it is much more helpful, I'll explain that also, is you will be going ahead and making pivot tables now, and there you want to sort.
Right.
The sorting becomes much more easier with these numbers. That's
yes. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. All right. So the question was, ki bhai, how many finished writes are there for these two particular things, days and hours ka combination? Okay. Any idea how we can do it, guys? Come on, please help me. What's the better way to do this? I want to see in this particular day, in this particular hour and this particular day, how many finished writes are there, so that I can identify a quick pattern. So let's do pivot table. Okay, what I
just need to confirm if we can use count function for this.
Count function, but yeah, you can of course use it, but pivot tables are specifically for this quick calculation. See how quickly I'll be able to do it. Done. That's how quickly you can do. Okay. Right. Now what I'll do is, I don't want these grand columns, so I'll just remove these. It doesn't make any sense to me. What I'll also do is, I'll reduce these decimals to a single decimal itself. You can also keep as no decimal. Looks much clearer. I'll also copy this and paste it below. Why I'm doing this is something that I'll explain a bit later. But yeah, let's come to this. This is average finish writes for this particular hour of this day. Okay. I'm again not able to understand this very clearly. What I can use is use a conditional formatting, go to color scale, default this, and done. Very quickly, once you see this, what is your first insight after seeing this particular table?
Basically, where the green is, the most minutes, right?
Okay.
Right.
Can you tell me where exactly are you seeing green?
After 6 o'clock till 11, late night, we are getting more finished writes.
Very good, very good. Any sort of thoughts that are coming to your mind? Why this could be the case?
Of office hours.
Beautiful. Very good. Exactly right. See, office hours, Monday to Friday, late night, Saturday, Sunday, late night. Hai? Seeing the observation, right? Perfect. All right. Let's just do this a little small so that we have the space over here as well. Now, I am seeing that finish writes are very high over here, and over here. But the finish writes are in very little number in the early morning hours of Monday to Friday, in afternoon, and also on Saturday and Sundays. Afternoon. Okay. Now, this could be because of two reasons. The finish writes are not happening because of two reasons. What are those two reasons? One reason is either the demand itself is not there. People don't want to book. Or the riders are not there. These are the only two ways I can look at.
Right.
Okay, of course, we can go a lot deeper into this, that riders are not there. Why? Because they are not active online, or they are online but they are chilling, or they are online but their productivity is very less, that they drive very slowly. They drive very in different manner. That drill down we can do later. Okay? But at a very fundamental level, if you think about it, there are only two ways. Either the people are not there, trying to book, or the driver itself is not there. Demand supply game. Now, I want to understand whether it is from the demand side. Is it from the demand side that people don't actually want to book over here? Or is it that people want to book, but drivers are not available? That's the question that I want to answer, so that I can go into that particular tree part, right? For example, maybe I can show you better over here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, there is Uber's, what should I say? Uber's finished writes. Okay, this could be possible, one from the demand side, another from the supply side. I want to know whether demand is not there or the supply is not there. Okay, that's the first question I want to answer. How should I answer this question? How should I answer this question? You have all the data that you need over here.
We can see for that specific hour how many people are booking and how many active drivers are there.
How many people are booking and how many active? Very good. Can you go a little deeper? Can you tell me from where exactly I can get this information?
People saw 0 cars, plus people saw +1 cars would be the demand.
Very good. Beautiful. Exactly right. Whatever Lakshmi mentioned is the answer. This, if you see that people saw 0 cars, people saw +1 cars, and the coverage ratio is actually telling you the demand. So if I can somehow get to the point where for each of this hours and day, I can get the demand and then match it to these finished rates, I'll be able to see whether this is a supply problem or a demand problem. Okay? So for that, what is the best proxy that we can use? It is the coverage ratio. If the coverage ratio is 78%, that means there is demand. There are people who are sitting to get the car, but they're not able to see. If that coverage ratio is low, 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 and low, that means there is very, very high demand over there. Getting my point? Why I'm telling you this thing is because coverage ratio is simply a function of people who are able to see the cars divided by the total number of people who are trying to book. So either there are lots of people who are trying to book. Now comes the second part, very important. Either the demand is very high, that is lots of people who are trying to book, or actually that will be a single thing. So, or you can divide in these things. Demand is very high, or demand is time sensitive. What I mean by this is that at a particular hour, at a particular moment, in itself, there are lots of people who are trying to book. For example, when the office ends at 7 p.m. Is it a general case where lots of people are eventually in the city and they are trying to book? So is it across whole timeline itself, or is it during a particular time? It is 7 p.m., morning 10 a.m. What exactly is the case? So let's try to figure that out. Okay. What I'll do is I'll go over here and I will create actually a pivot table only. I'll copy this, paste it over here, go to edit. Instead of finished right, I'll just make coverage ratio. Okay. Make this as average. Consider this whole thing, go to format, conditional formatting, go to color scale, this, and this. Okay, now you have two tables. Okay, this is of the finish rights. This is of the completion, coverage ratio. After seeing these two particular tables, what are the insights that you're getting? Is it the demand problem or is it the supply problem? And for which particular hour is it the demand problem, and for which particular hour it is the supply problem? Just go through these two tables and let me know.
I mean, 11th hour to 17th hour is basically where the major issue is like.
Major issue, okay. Why are you saying major issue, Darshan?
Just because, I mean, the demand, it seems like it's read out here, which kind of says that, you know, the rights are not, we have a lesser rights, finished rights. So when you compare that with the other table here, it kind of makes sense that, you know, the demand is, I mean, always there, but we are not able to supply it.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I think morning time we are not having finished rides because there is a less of supply from 0 to maybe 6 or 0 to 9 hours. If we say there is a less supply, riders, there are less cars people seeing, or people are less demand is there. Sorry.
Very good. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Any other thoughts?
In 7 to 9, there is demand, but there is a short supply. So if we see in the you know, the demand side of the pivot table, the coverage ratio is almost like 50%. So the denominator may be high, or the numerator may be very low. I mean, so the finished rides are the riders who see the drivers are low, or maybe the demand is high. But in the finished rides,
no, absolutely, you're on the right track. See, let's quickly move to the green parts. Okay, over here we have very good amount of finished rides, but on the same side, the supply also is very good for us. Why? Because the coverage ratio is good. That is, as soon as people are able to open their app, they are able to see lots of at least one cars. So the supply is also good. And because the supply is good, of course, the completion rate is also good. Same is the case with this late night Saturday, Sunday. Okay. Now observe this carefully. We have between this 8, 9 and 10 p.m. huge amount of finished rides. But on the same side, there is huge demand as well. That is, during this hour, people are actually trying to book lots of rides, and also the drivers are active. The drivers are active, hence only they are able to book these many rides. Na? But since the demand is so high, demand is so high that the number of drivers who are active over there are not able to fulfill it. So what should I do? As Uber, I literally want that more drivers should get active between these 8, 9, and 10 hours. Why? Because there is huge demand. And also, if you see the number, 26%, the demand getting satisfied is around 65%. If you take 35% of this, that's a huge number. Compared to the early mornings. Early morning, there is only one finished rides, and the demand and the supply also is above 50%. The maximum ride that you can book at this moment would be 2 or 3. Whereas in this case, you have 26. 65, if you want to reach to 100%, I'm doing just quick mental calculation if you're not getting ignored. 65 to 100, if you want to go, 40 divided by 6, 66% you want to increase, 26 to 60% is 12 rides. 12 additional rides you will get over here if more drivers are active compared to only 2, 3. My peak demand is over here. My peak demand is over here, and my supply also is good. Sorry, my finished ride is also good. If I can somehow go ahead and put more drivers over here who are active, I can make more money. Getting my point? If you are not getting, well, let's make it more simple. Okay, what I'll do is I'll go to demand and I'll show you the beauty of charts. Okay, what we can do is I'll just shorten these columns as well. Okay, we have let's quickly make the chart for the gap between demand and supply. We have this in 2 tables. Now let's try to make, what happened to my voice? Let's try to make it in a single graph itself. Okay. So let's try to do for hours. Let's try to do first hours wala. I'll have hours. What is my supply? My supply is this. Why? Because this is the amount of cars the learners can see. This is the supply. And my okay, we'll have to make one column demand. Demand will be what? Demand will be this plus this. I'll not shout. My voice went away. This column, this is my supply. People saw 1 car. This is my demand. Okay. Let's go insert. Let's make a chart. Let's make a area chart. I'll remove this. I'll remove this. I'll remove this. On x-axis, let's put hours. Okay. On x-axis, let's put hours. Let's aggregate it. And over here, we'll put people saw 1 car and demand. Okay. Now let's go here. Paste it. Just give me 1 second. Okay. You guys tell me now. After seeing this chart, what insight are you getting? What are your first thoughts? Blue thing is the supply. Red thing is the demand. Where exactly the gap is huge?
Between
8.
Sorry, where?
4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Sorry. Yes, evening.
Evening, and this also, na? 7
yes.
at 9.
Yes,
peaking at 9, peaking at 9, peaking at 7.
Right.
These are my biggest gap of supply and demand. And that was the first question, if you all remember. Time period with clear undersupply. You see how first we try to understand what is the business outcome that we are trying to solve. Then we try to understand, okay, where exactly problem could lie. Then we try to visualize it properly. That's the whole process. Now let's go deeper. I can clearly see that there is a gap. There is a supply gap. Let's try to figure it out. Let's pick one particular hour. Pick any hour. Okay? Wherever you see the huge difference. Let's pick 9 because that's like the absolute peak. And see whether it is for all the days or for few days. Okay? We'll try to figure that out first. And once we figure that out, then we will go ahead and try to see on the supply side what exactly is the issue. What could be the issues? Issues could be that drivers are not active. Drivers in itself is less. There are less number of drivers on the platform only. Drivers are inactive. Drivers are less productive. They're taking huge amount of time to do one particular trip. Any other thoughts that are coming to your mind?
No? We are not considering here any charges or those things, right?
No data for that. No, that's fine. Else we could, of course. So yeah, but for now, since we are just looking at the timing and all, so we are just focusing on this now. All right, let's try to do this. What I'll do is I'll just simply make a copy of this, and we have picked 9th hour. Okay? On Popular's choice also, I can pick any other hour as well, but yeah, completely up to you guys. So let's do 9-hour analysis. Okay? What I'm doing is I'll just delete, or I'll just put a filter, and that filter, what we want to do, 9th hour. No? So except for 9th, I'll select everything and delete it. Remove the filter. Okay. Now what we can select the day, we can select the supply, we can select the demand. And one more thing, since we want to know what exactly is the case, we also want to select the active drivers. Okay. Let's quickly make a chart of this, and you will see let's make line chart only. remove all this thing. Horizontal, we will add day, and in series, let's add people have this thing. What happened this? Oh, let's aggregate it and demand. Okay, I'll put it over here. Okay, I'll just say things out. Sorry for not making it very clear on the chart. The yellow thing that you see is the demand. The blue thing that you see is the supply. The red thing that you see is the active driver. Now, if you can help me tell what insights that you can get from this chart.
Demand is highest on 5th day.
Okay, what else? Go a level deeper. How can you use all three things?
So basically, like demand is higher, supply is lower, but the drivers accepting the demand is also, I mean, that some of them are still not accepting because there are availability is more considering that. But if you see the supply is always lower, so maybe they're not accepting this one thing.
Okay. Not accepting, that's the first one. What else?
Incentives.
Sorry? You have the demand over here. The supply is over here. And the active driver is in between. Come on, think about it. What could be the case? No extra incentive. Okay, I mean, that will come to. But there are two things that you can get from this. No? On Saturday, Sunday also, suddenly yellow line comes below and red line is above. But over here from Monday to Friday, you are seeing the opposite. What exactly it is telling me? And the supply remains below only. What exactly it is telling me? Driver supply engaged in a ride, demand is greater than supply to demand is less. That is clear, supply to demand is less. Driver supply already engaged in a ride, okay. Drivers already engaged in a ride, demand is greater than supply.
So we have less number of drivers on the platform.
Why?
Because we are seeing the demand the most, and we still have active drivers, but those are less than the demand. So to fulfill the gap, we don't have the drivers, right?
See, that's what, right? This supply, if you see, that means these number of drivers are active. Actually, you can see on the app, the number of active drivers are slightly above. That means drivers were active in that particular hour, but for a very small amount of time. Maybe they logged out in that particular moment. Maybe they are just occupied in the ride itself. Maybe they logged out at the last moment, right? Although the demand is always huge, that itself means that the number of driver that we have on Monday to Friday for 9th hour is less. If we can somehow get more drivers in over here, my active drivers will increase. It should go ideally above the demand. If it goes above the demand, then the fraction of it will be able to satisfy the demand that we have. Right? This particular supply is over here. The demand is over here. There are active drivers who are in between it. Now there might be certain active drivers who just logged out in that 9th hour on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday till Friday, or they are occupied in the ride. That's why this demand is not getting satisfied. What should I do? I should get more drivers over here so that I can actually satisfy the demand. Whereas if you see on Saturday, Sunday, 6th and 7th, on Saturday, Sunday, if you see that we have more active drivers, still the demand is higher than the supply. Here, the drivers are active, but they are not accepting the ride. Here, the problem is of acceptance. Here, the problem is that the driver itself is not there. Two different cases in a single thing. So how do you drive that? To know that, first you will have to know that for how much. By how much I have to drive the extra supply. If I can get that extra supply, then I can go ahead and then tell my drivers, ki, bhai, get active for 1 more hour, then I'll pay you this much. Fair enough, right? Getting my points?
Right.
No. Okay, so now let's do that task first. Let's try to understand that how much supply we need. Then we can figure out the this thing, money. Cool. So let's do one thing. As I was mentioning that over here, if you go ahead, the main supply through which, like the main supply lens that we can look at is the online hour and the people who saw at least 1 car. But in order to actually fulfill the finished rides, we will have to look at the online hour percentage, right? Because these are the ones who are actually trying to fulfill the demand, as in trying to get the completion booking. The another proxy is also the has booking, but that is a bifurcation. We can go it in the next step. First, we'll use the online hour. So we'll try to understand that by how much I have to increase this. Okay, by how much I have to increase this. That's the question that I have in my mind. By how much I have to increase my online supply hours. So what I'll do is I'll take online hours for now and just quickly do a sum. This is what I have for now for each of these hours and days. Okay, this is what I have now. I want to calculate the extra. Okay, consider this as percentages. I'm assuming all of you would have studied percentages. If I want to make this 60 become 100, by how much percentage? By how much percentage should I increase it? If I want to make this 60 to 100, by how much percentage should I increase it?
40.
Nah, phasa. That's the trick question. You'll not increase by 40, na? The end goal is 100. Okay? Maybe the end goal could be 120. Maybe the end goal could be 130. Okay? The end goal is 100. 100, you are at 60. If you want to increase percentages, what you do? You go to the end value minus the start value, divide by the start value. You know, so 67%. Okay, Darshan?
Yeah, got it.
That's all. This is how it works. We are not adding those things. Okay, so we'll have to increase it by the difference of the whatever end amount is to the start amount divided by the start amount. That's the formula. I'll maybe write it also. End amount minus start divided by start. Okay, this is the formula. So let's use it and we will get the answer. What I'll do is I'll come over here, paste it. Okay, this also will paste it. And let's try to apply the formula. This is 14.6. Okay, this is 14.6. This is the base value. On top of it, I want 100. That's the end percentage minus this value. Why this value? Because 10101010 same. Divide by the start value will give me the answer. No? Yeah. This multiplied by this much percentage I want to increase. Okay. One second. Okay. I'll reduce the decimals. And let's do a quick conditional formatting for this as well, just so that we can see by where it is working. Okay. These are my key. These two are my key slots where I actually want to go ahead and increase the supply. And this I can also see from here as well. Okay. So of course, there are better ways to do it. What you can do is you can use 80-20 principle. You know 80-20 principle, Pareto principle? You guys know Pareto principle, 80-20 principle? Yes, no? Yes?
Yes.
It basically means that 20% of your value drives 80% of the impact. So if I go ahead and take out 20% of these values, that would drive my 80% of the impact. So I can literally go ahead out of these, all the values, which are what, how many in number? These are in 168 in number. Is that 20% would be somewhere around 32 or top 15, 20. So that top 15, 20 values you can take out. And those will be your high impact online hours or high impact hours and data combo that you want to focus on. Sorry if I made it a little complex. I'll just repeat. This total number is 168. Okay? 168. Na? 20% of it would be somewhere around 34. Okay? So let's take around 20 values just on the simpler side. So this top 20 numbers, this is the highest number is 16.5, then 3, then this. If you take those 20 numbers, that will drive 80% of the impact. So you can just focus on that first, try to run your experiment and see whether it is driving your impact or not. If it is driving, then you can use for all the others as well. Okay, Nishant, clear? Yep, perfect, nice. So what I can do actually is, for the simplicity and faster purposes, I am just summing all these values equal to sum this value plus, this is actually not the right practice, to be very honest. We would have used Pareto principles only, but for now we're using this here. So the additional supply that we need is of 295 hours. Additional supply hours needed. This is the additional supply hours that are needed. 295 hours. That's how we answered our third question. Right? Interesting, right?
You make it sound so easy, but when it comes to us,
it takes time. I mean, I get your point. What I would highly recommend you guys is to get better at the problem breakdown and thinking step by step what I want to actually analyze. Okay. Just see the flow that we used today. What was the business outcome? Finished rights. Then we broke it down. Is it either a supply problem or a demand problem? Coverage ratio. Then to make it visually look better, we made 2 charts trying to identify where exactly the issue is. We found out the issue is at the 9th hour and the 17th hour. Is it across all days? Let's try to find out. Is it across all days? No. Sometimes it is less. Why? Because over here the drivers are less. Over here the participation is less. Okay. Now let's try to go towards the part by how much additional hours we need so that we can actually fix this demand and supply. For that, what we used was a proxy. What is the proxy for our data? It is the online hour. Okay? Then we did a simple basic calculation that how much additional percentage we require. This is the additional percentage. Go very slow. It will take time. I'll be very honest. It comes with practice. But once you keep on doing these exercises, you will get a hang of it. Okay? Now, the problem statement for you guys is to do these two things. Okay? Well, I literally want to give you hints, but try to do this. How would you do this? Is first try to understand how much money that they are actually earning now. Okay? How much money they are actually earning now. Then for all the additional hours that you have calculated, what is the additional money that you will be paying? Okay. Then go a level deeper in order to understand that what are your chances of actually making that money. I'll repeat again. First, understand that what exactly are the money that you are making. Second step is to understand what is the additional money that you will be paying. Okay? By this additional supply hours. This particular hours that you have, this is the additional money that you can generate for yourself. Why? You can generate it for yourself because you just did the analysis. If you can cover the supply analysis gap. Then try to identify for which particular hour it would be beneficial for me to actually put incentives. How would you do that? Figure out. Try to figure out. Okay, there are certain principles that you can use. There are certain thoughts that you can put in and so on. And one very important thing that you shouldn't miss is to actually see what is your probability of actually getting that money. For all this online hours, whatever we have calculated, do you think that all these online hours will get satisfied? I have a huge doubt on it. This is the additional supply that we are thinking about. Maybe it could be less, maybe it could be more. So what is that probability? Where is that number lying? Try to identify that in this data. It is hidden. Okay? Once you identify that number down, then you will have to multiply that with that probability number and get to the final incentive, which would be this thing, assumption table. Okay? I will please request all of you to do this. It's a beautiful exercise. Put some thought out. You will definitely be able to do it. Tomorrow by evening itself, I'll ask Akanksha to share the sheet with you. And if you have any questions, I'm on the group also. You can happy to tag me and more than happy to answer those things. Okay? But any questions till this point? Anything where you were not clear? Anything where we skipped anything? Any other approaches that you might have in your mind? Do let me know. Also, do leave your session ratings if possible. Helps me improve myself. Okay? By the way, your Excel skills are clear. I hope Excel is almost done, right? Excel clear now? Yes. Perfect. Okay. Then you can proceed ahead with these case studies. Or actually just look for SQL for now. Improve your SQL because that's very important for the interviews. Look for SQL. Once you're done with that, then ask Akanksha to share more case studies. She'll be sharing these things. You can do it. One more platform that you can look for is Kaggle. Go to Kaggle. There are multiple data sets that you have. And take any data set and try to figure out a problem statement by yourself. That by Zomato data set I have, it's on restaurants number. And you can make a note that, okay, restaurants are not, what could be the beautiful case study for this? That restaurant's churn rate is very high. Okay? That's the problem statement let's say you have taken. Now, first of all, define what is churn rate. Okay? Once you have defined this churn rate, then go a level deeper in order to understand what could be the proper way to break down this thing. One could either be the location, the demographic part. One could either be the pricing part. One could either be the experience part. Okay? These three parts, let's say you divide. Then in demographic also, it could be location. It could be XYZ things. Then on the pricing also, it could be commissions. It could be the ads and so on. On the experience part, it could be the payments and so on. Okay? Divide in these perspectives. Try to go ahead and do the analysis. Come up with the insights. Go again level deeper. This is how you can do it. Okay? The beautiful platform, lots of good data set over here that you can use for your analysis. Just go here. For Excel, I would recommend to go here, put a filter from 0 to 50 MB. Not 0, actually 10 to 50 MB. Take CSV files, learning and application based, and put the enter, right? You will get some good case studies. Also, look for those data sets which are of business in nature. What I mean by that is like this e-commerce is a good data set. This comic books data set is of no use. If you want to practice your Excel skills, then of course this is good. But if you want to practice some business case studies, look for these kind of data set. E-commerce data set, your Amazon data set, e-commerce, that's also e-commerce only. Some, let's say, used cars data set, and so on. That's how you can do it. But yeah, you can identify some good case studies over here. Anyways, I'll not take much of your time. It's already